What I would like to do is just share some thoughts with you about ayahuasca and the ways in which it is viewed and the ways in which I think the scientific paradigm may be getting it wrong. So there's a lot of talk at this conference about what the sacred plants can do for us, heal our wounds, cure our addictions, expand our minds. We've been taught to think of the sacred plants as useful, prepackaged collocations of active molecules. But in indigenous cultures, shamans heal because they're in a personal and mutual relationship with the healing spirits. When we use the sacred plants, our encounters with the world of the spirits are not visits to the therapist. Rather, they create a relationship that entails obligations as well. In this view, the sacred plants are autonomous others who are not means to our ends, but rather are ends in themselves. Like vision fasts or dreams or talking circles, using these plants is a sacred shamanic ceremony which has its own often unforeseen purposes and lessons to teach us that we might not be expecting. So it's clear what we expect from the sacred plants. But in the midst of this conference, we might pause briefly and ask the shamanic question, what do the sacred plants expect from us? At the start of every ayahuasca ceremony, my maestro ayahuasquero, Don Roberto Acho, goes around the room putting agua de Florida cologne in cross patterns on the forehead, chest, and back of each participant. As he does this, he blows smoke from the powerful tobacco called mapacho into the crown of the head and over the entire body of each participant, and he whistles a special song of protection called an arcana. The song has no particular name, it is just La Arcana, and no words. It is a breathy whistle. And no words. It is intention abstracted from human language. The wordless whistling approximates instead to puro sonido, pure sound, which is the language of the plants. The goal is to cleanse and protect. The song calls the protective genios, the thorny palm trees, the fierce animals, the predatory hawks and owls that are used in sorcery and thus best protect against it. The strong, sweet smells of cologne and tobacco attract the protective and the healing spirits, seal the body against attack, and avert the pathogenic projectiles, the darts, scorpions, monkey teeth, razor blades of the envious and the resentful. The goal, as Don Roberto puts it, is to erect a wall 1,000 feet high and 1,000 feet below the earth to protect himself, his students, and all who are in attendance. But why are there such protections, such precautions at a ceremony that is, after all, intended for healing? Part of the answer is rooted in what I have called the tragic cosmovision of Upper Amazonian shamanism, where there are no bright lines between healing and sorcery, life and death, good and evil, predation and renewal. In this tragic cosmovision, the dark and the light, killing and curing, predator and prey are at once antagonistic and complementary. The price we pay for life is death, and out of death comes healing and life. The same plant and animal spirits, the same tools are used both to protect and to destroy. The shaman who knows how to heal is at the same time a sorcerer who knows how to kill. Once you drink ayahuasca, I was told, when you start to learn the plant teachers with your body, the world becomes a more dangerous place. Sorcerers, resentful of your presumption, will shoot magical pathogenic darts into your body, or send fierce animals to attack you, or fill your body with scorpions and razor blades, especially while you are still a beginner before you gain your full powers. Peruvian poet Cesar Calvo Soriano says that drinking ayahuasca makes one into a crystal, exposed to all the spirits, to the evil ones and the true ones that inhabit the air. Such transparency is perilous. But again, in the upper Amazon, there is no bright line between the evil and the true spirits. Some of the most powerful of the plants, such as katawa and pukalupuna, want to deal only with the strongest and most self-controlled of humans, those willing to undertake long periods of solitude and fasting in the wilderness. Other humans, they kill. Now, we do not need ourselves to be embedded in the ambiguous and perilous shamanic culture of the upper Amazon to recognize the power of these beliefs as metaphor. What the protective ceremony is saying is this: you cannot be a tourist among the spirits. Shamans in the upper Amazon have established a relationship of trust and love with the healing and protective spirits of the plants. To win their love, to learn to sing to them in their own language, shamans must first show that they are strong and faithful, worthy of trust. To do this, they have to go into the wilderness, away from other people, and follow la dieta, the restricted diet. No salt, no sugar, no sex. And ingest the sacred plant that is the body of the spirit. That is the way the shaman learns the plant, its uses, its preparation, its song, by taking the plant inside the body, letting the plant teach its mysteries, giving the self over to the power of the plant. There is a complex, reciprocal interpersonal relationship between shaman and other than human person. Fear, awe, passion, surrender, friendship, love. Opening the door to the magical world is not a day trip. Every approach we make to the spirits entails reciprocal obligations, the risks and dangers of the vision fast. What those obligations are is a matter between each of us and the spirits, but at the very least they require gratitude and humility, a willingness to be courageous and vulnerable, to speak honestly from our hearts and listen devoutly with our hearts, to tell the spirits our truest stories. Any encounter with the spirits is like a vision fast. How many people here have been on a vision fast? Wonderful. During a vision quest, we leave our ordinary life and comforts behind. We stay in solitude in the wilderness for 4 days and 4 nights without a tent, without food, without a fire. In this way, we express not only our willingness to undergo hardship for the sake of the spirits, but also our separation from our normal social relationships. The voluntary privations are part of our newly liminal condition in which we encounter the dangerous unknown in order to bring back a gift, a song, a ceremony, our own unguessed talent, not for ourselves, but for our people. You cannot be a tourist on a vision fast. The same is true in any encounter with the spirits. The encounter is risky and meaningful. We have to be willing to undertake the dangerous opening of our hearts, to tell our stories to the spirits with open-hearted honesty, and to listen devoutly with our hearts to what the spirits tell us in return, often through the merest signs, the inchoate movements of our hearts, the silent singing of the plants. Any encounter with the spirits is like a talking circle. How many people here have been in a talking circle? We had kind of a talking circle last night, which was wonderful because people spoke open-heartedly and courageously. In a talking circle, people sit in a circle, pass around the talking stick. Whoever holds the talking stick gets to speak, and everybody else listens. There are no interruptions, no questions, no challenges. People speak one at a time, in turn, honestly from their hearts, and they listen devoutly with their hearts to each person who speaks. The effect, for those of you who have participated, can be miraculous. In many ways, the talking circle is the paradigmatic healing ceremony. The talking circle makes demands on us that we have a listening heart, that we have what St. Francis called a transformed and undefended heart. The talking circle demands that we put aside ego, speak our truth with humility, and open ourselves to the unspoken motions of the human heart. You cannot be a tourist in a talking circle. When people speak honestly and listen devoutly, when they tell their stories, when they sing their songs to each other, healing occurs miraculously and spontaneously. Speaking our truths with humility in a circle touches upon something that is deeply and profoundly human. Communities become strong and relationships grow deeper on the basis of the songs and stories we sing and tell to each other, and by our willingness to be transparent and vulnerable and accountable to each other. In a talking circle, we don't ask or demand that others in the circle help us or heal us or change us. We speak honestly from our hearts. We express our fears and hopes and regrets. And we listen to the songs and stories of the others, opening up our hearts, becoming, in a mysterious and sacred process, better people.